Welcome to Backstage with Richard Ridge. Jinkx Monsoon, two-time RuPaul's Drag Race winner, has stepped into another iconic role this season, that of Audrey in the hit musical Little Shop of Horrors, and I caught up with her here at the West Side Theater. It's a thrill to be sitting with you here at the West Side Theater.
Thank you. It's a thrill to be anywhere at all. No, I'm joking. No, I love getting to chat with you. I feel like we do it about once a year. At this time, about once a year.
But how exciting is that? Did you ever dream seriously growing up that you would have the kind of career that you have now on Broadway and here in New York with doing something like Little Shop?
Well, I always dreamed of it, yeah. And there was a point in high school where I really convinced myself it was possible. Then there was a point in college where I thought I had to give up on this dream. And then I did Drag Race, and you know, I've had the privilege of getting to do so many things in the last decade. And now it's crazy, but I'm exactly where I always dreamt of being. It just took 36 years. But thank God, because I was so ready. And I felt so ready to step into this role, and the fact that they invited me and graciously welcomed me into this production is just, it's a dream come true.
Okay, so when you found out you were going to play Audrey, what went through your mind, and how'd you keep it a secret?
Oh, it was really hard to keep it a secret, actually, because I was so excited. I mean, it means so many things to me. It means a lot to other people out there. It was just very, very significant to get the call and the offer, and I just took it very seriously. You know, I took the honor of being invited to play this role very seriously. And I began rehearsing on my own really once the talk about it being possible started. And then as soon as it was official, I talked with Will Van Dyke, the music director, who's just amazing. And we talked about how I was gonna perform this. And he believed in the way I wanted to do it, and we worked on it together. And every night, I seriously go, I can't believe it's working. I can't believe it's working. But it is.
Of course it is. What did you want to bring to your Audrey?
Well, I've been saying this a lot, but Audrey, especially Ellen Green's Audrey that I grew up with, she reminds me of my mom. And in this like bubbly sweetness, and I don't know, just like she kind of puts on this hyper femininity as a little bit of a survival tactic. And you know what? Like, I think a lot of people with single mothers who were overburdened parents would probably understand what I'm talking about, you know, when a woman has to survive. So I just wanted to bring that to this character, you know. What if being Audrey is how she's gotten this far? You know, what if she concocted Audrey as a way to survive in the life that she was given?
That's beautiful. What a great way to, no, seriously, what a great way to look at her.
Well, I kind of treat all of my characters, no matter who they are, as drag, you know, like, because I created Jinkx Monsoon in the same way I create any character, you know, but with a scripted, established character, it comes with its own set of parameters and its own guidelines and past performances to build off of. And so I wasn't starting from, you know, square one. I was building off of my life experiences, Ellen Green's Audrey, MJ Rodriguez, who interpreted Audrey before me from a trans perspective. And so, you know, I felt really lucky to kind of like pick up, what is it, the Audrey chain and put my link in it.
Yep. No, beautifully done, because that chain will continue.
Yeah.
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 Okay, what is it like living in this incredible world of Little Shop of Horrors created by Howard Ashman and Alan Menken?
Well, of course it's like, it's gritty because it's Skid Row, but there's so much joy in this show, you know? Like the story, there's a lot of joy in the story. And my theater mentor, my favorite teacher in college, Kira McDonald, said, if you play a character that dies, your responsibility is to fill them with life beforehand, like so that their death means something. So when I think about how much life there is in this show, to counter how much death there is, I realize, you know, why. It's like, it feels like a fun, upbeat show, even though it's not actually. But but it is, and it isn't. You know, it's one of those things. But I can say living in this production is just incredible. Like the set design is so amazing that I really do feel like I'm in the flower shop. It's really easy to get lost in the world you were just talking about, because everything, I've been saying this a lot, when you work with a lot of people who care as much as you do, that's when the real fun happens, you know, because everyone has put their best into this production. So by the time I got here and I get to like step in, there's already a wonderful world to step into.
Singing these iconic songs, like you said, I was brought up on them, you were brought up on them. I mean, Somewhere That's Green, these beautiful songs. Like when you first started working with the musical director, like, did your mind explode like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get to sing these on stage?
Well, I have sung Somewhere That's Green quite a bit in my repertoire through the years, but I've always sung it very comically. I've never sung it sincerely before this. And Suddenly Seymour I've only ever done as like karaoke or like late night at a piano sing-along when I really shouldn't have been thrashing my voice. But no, getting to sing it on stage and supported by such a wonderful band, wonderful conducting, wonderful music directing. All the singers, the other actors and performers are just so wonderful that it's like I said, it's just easy to do good work when there's good work all around you.
What an incredible cast. Your two leading men. Talk about them that you got to share the stage with.
Oh, wow. I've been saying they treat me like a princess in the most affirming way, if that makes sense. Because I don't know. I brought all these preconceived notions and anxieties of being a trans feminine person in this role and having my first love interest as a female character on stage, and all of those anxieties were unfounded. These two dudes have just been wonderful. Corbin and I just, from day one, it was like everything I had found on my own through rehearsal with our fabulous understudies. It just clicked into place with Corbin Seymour so effortlessly. And then James and I rehearsed together, so we got to kind of build our characters together, which was great. And I feel like we've got this like 1960s version of Sid and Nancy going on.
I love that.
That's what I think in my head.
Okay, what do you remember about that first performance on stage here as Audrey?
Oh, I was on so much cocaine. No, what I remember is I just love every second of this. Like the rehearsal process, every day I was happy to go to work. I actually said this to my friend and assistant in our apartment one night when I was exhausted. And I was like, today I was playing video games and I was sitting there thinking, oh God, I wish I could just sit here and play video games all day. And then I remembered what work was and I was like, oh my God, I gotta get ready for work. And it was like 4 hours early because I just all of a sudden was excited to go to work. That's how I feel.
Yeah. The stage, I talked to Gwen Verdon years ago, the late great Gwen Verdon, and she said all these roles have a whole backstage story that goes on. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what's the track like backstage for Audrey? Because sets are moving back and forth. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like, when did that get into your head?
I'm still
with moving
figuring
scenery
it out.
And everything.
I think I'm pretty good now.
Yeah.
I know the problem for me is I like to watch as much of the show as possible. So there's a moment where, there's a long stretch of time where the dentist chair is set somewhere where I can see a backstage monitor. And so I'm just sitting there enjoying the show, and then Austin comes for the dentist chair, and I'm like, please, can I have 5 more minutes? They're about to sing, don't you? You never know, and I gotta watch You Never Know because it's so fun. Anyway, that's the times I cause traffic issues, is because I'm trying to watch the show.
Like, get out of the way.
Yeah.
Moving flower shop or something's gotta move, right?
It is very much that. It's a ballet backstage.
Yeah.
And a big part of my rehearsal was learning the ballet backstage, and I still, just like you need a little time to get your lines perfect.
Like any backstage
same thing.
too.
Yeah.
The same thing. The first time you saw yourself in the mirror done up as Audrey, with the wig, the costume, the makeup, everything, what do you remember?
I remember thinking I looked like my grandma when she was young, because right before, and like I said, this musical was big in my family, and right before I started rehearsal, my aunt sent me a picture of my grandma shortly after she married my grandpa, and she has kind of short, curly hair, and it's auburn. And I don't always see my grandma in my face, even though we have we share strong genetic features, like the nose. That was one thing I couldn't change in my facial feminization surgery. 1, because I'm a singer, but 2, because I was like, my family has to be able to identify me. Like that's how we all see each other, as like by our nose. Anyway, I had the wig on and I thought I looked just like Nana, and that was really special. And I wasn't expecting that. So yeah, it's just, I don't know, like I said, synchronicity. Everything's been just coming together in a really beautiful tapestry that is life.
Yeah. You are an inspiration to so many people, especially young trans people, that see you and say, oh my gosh, I can have a life. And I watch you, I literally live across the street, so I watch you sometimes. You talk to everybody at the end of the show. All these young people wait for you, and you talk to all of them. And
well, I actually don't talk.
You stand.
I do sit there and receive.
Yes, you stand on the steps outside.
I learned my lesson in Chicago because when I did Chicago, I did the stage door, which I feel strongly about, like doing it if possible. But I would also kind of hold court, and that was not good for my singing voice. And I had to learn that you do have to make some shifts in your life to be an effective singer. And so I come out, I tell everyone, I'll sign your playbills, I'll take your picture, and this is the last you're gonna hear of my voice. Nice. And then, but what you're talking about is true. And again, I just wanna say, like, there are trans women who came before me who showed me that it was possible. There are trans women before me on Broadway in this role. You know, Angelica Ross in Chicago, MJ Rodriguez in this role at the Pasadena Playhouse, Peppermint. And, you know, there's just a lot of people who paved the way for me. So knowing that I get to lay my bricks down for the people who come after me makes me very, very happy.
Yeah.
Because that's how we make these steps forward, is people being insistent on it, like me, like not shutting up about it over the last 10 years. And then amazing productions like this one saying, hey, I think this Jinkx is on to something. Let's get her in here.
I love that. You know, you mentioned Chicago. You made your Broadway debut as Mama Morton in Chicago. Mm-hmm. You and I spoke during that time period. How magical was that for you?
It was, I mean, you're just going to hear me say a lot of the same things because both productions have just been wonderful. But like, I learned so much. I was in that role for 10 weeks, and I say it was like having a conservatory style education. You know, it was like getting a master's in live entertainment from Lana Gordon and Charlotte D'Amboise, you know, and James T. Lane, and really all the principal actors, Evan and Ryan, and I would go on stage and do these scenes, and moments in my brain were like everything that I learned in acting school started to click and make sense. But it was because I was watching masters of this art form, of this craft. But I hate when I use words like craft, but it's the only word to use.
Totally.
Yeah, you know, watching people at the highest level do just stellar work inspired me to kick it up a notch. I don't know. That's how it felt.
But one other thing, one of my last questions is, because of your success on RuPaul's Drag Race, many people may be coming to see a live show for the very first time, a theatrical piece, because of you. We were all introduced to the theater through a movie star that we saw or a TV star, and you're introducing them to this world, what that means to you.
Well, I've talked a lot about how I feel like drag queens are like, we're kind of like living time capsules.
Yeah.
And we keep moments of culture alive that are important to us because we feel like, you know, other generations or other people who maybe just missed it. We keep these moments alive for the benefit of our community, basically. And I think come, you know, with an open heart and an open mind and your phone off.
Beautiful. Always a pleasure to catch up with you, my friend.
Thank you.
Yes.